Over the years in my clinic, I've seen so many men and women come in with quiet worries they barely feel comfortable saying out loud. A man in his 50s whispers that he just isn't waking up the same way anymore. A woman in her 40s confesses that intimacy feels drier, less alive, more fragile. These are not rare complaints. In fact, they're incredibly common, yet so many of us feel like we're the only ones struggling. Here's the truth: after age 35, your sexual health begins to mirror the health of your blood vessels, your hormones, and your nervous system. Erectile function, vaginal lubrication, arousal, these are not random events. They're signs of how well your body is nourished, how your cells are communicating, and how resilient your circulation remains. You've probably heard of supplements that promise overnight miracles: magnesium powders, testosterone boosters, even exotic herbs sold online. And while nutrients like magnesium do play important roles in nerve and muscle health, they are not the secret switch to reviving your sexual vitality. That's why today I want to challenge the idea that you need a cabinet full of pills. Instead, I'll show you how two very simple, very natural fruits eaten at night can actually support the same pathways that keep your erections strong, your blood vessels open, and your hormonal rhythms steady. Now, let's be clear. There is no magic fruit that will undo years of poor sleep, high stress, or uncontrolled diabetes, but certain foods contain bioactive compounds, antioxidants, amino acids, and plant-derived molecules that directly influence nitric oxide production, blood vessel dilation, and even testosterone balance. And what's remarkable is that the research shows they can work overnight because your body does most of its repair and hormone signaling while you sleep. So in this session, we're going to walk through 6 key truths. First, why magnesium on its own is not the hero you think. Second, how these two fruits actually compare to supplements. Third, the real physiology of nighttime erections and what they tell us about your health. Fourth, how women can benefit from the same foods in terms of lubrication, bladder wellness, and pelvic floor health. Fifth, the lifestyle factors that either amplify or cancel out these natural benefits. And finally, I'll give you a clear, realistic plan to put this into practice, not hype, just science you can live by. You are not broken, you are not alone, and tonight you'll learn how something as simple as what you eat before bed can begin to restore the confidence and vitality you thought was gone. This is something I hear often in clinic. Doc, I started taking magnesium. When will my erections come back? And I always pause because I love that this person is trying to take ownership of their health, but I also want to protect them from disappointment. Magnesium is one of the most abundant minerals in your body. It helps over 300 enzymatic reactions run smoothly. Everything from relaxing your muscles to balancing your heart rhythm to supporting nerve function. And yes, there is data showing that magnesium deficiency is linked to low testosterone, insulin resistance, and even poor sleep, all things that indirectly affect sexual health. But here's where the myth creeps in. Taking a single capsule of magnesium doesn't automatically boost testosterone by 200 points or restore blood flow overnight. Most men who are magnesium deficient are also dealing with other issues: stress hormones running high, poor sleep quality, low-grade inflammation, maybe even early diabetes or high blood pressure. Magnesium can support the system, but it's not a standalone cure. Think of your erection like the performance of a symphony orchestra. Magnesium is like one of the violinists. Very important, but the music will still sound off if the trumpets are out of tune or the percussion is missing entirely. Your sexual function depends on many instruments working together: nitric oxide production, healthy blood vessel linings, nerve signaling from your spine, and balanced testosterone and prolactin. Studies from the Journal of Human Reproductive Sciences and Biological Trace Element Research show that magnesium supplementation can raise free testosterone in men, but mostly in those who are already deficient or who are physically active. And the dose, timing, and duration all matter. Just grabbing a random magnesium bottle from the store and taking it with your late-night beer isn't going to give you the result you're hoping for. This is why I emphasize food first. Whole foods not only provide magnesium in a more bioavailable form, but they also bring in potassium, antioxidants, and fiber, all of which help your cardiovascular system reduce oxidative stress and keep your blood sugar steady. When we focus narrowly on a single supplement, we miss the bigger picture. Sexual health is a vascular and hormonal equation, not just a nutrient equation. So if you've been faithfully swallowing magnesium pills and feeling frustrated, please don't feel like your body is broken. You're not doing something wrong. You just haven't addressed the entire system yet. And that's exactly what we'll do next. Look at two simple fruits that nourish not just magnesium pathways, but also the nitric oxide pathway, the antioxidant system, and your overnight repair hormones, making them far more powerful than a single isolated nutrient. Before we go there, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried supplements hoping to fix intimacy issues? Did they help? Drop a comment, because when we talk about this openly, we break the stigma and help others realize they're not alone. Let's start with the first powerhouse fruit, pomegranate. Yes, the same ruby red fruit that's been used for thousands of years in traditional medicine and modern science is finally catching up to why. Pomegranate is one of the richest natural sources of polyphenols, plant antioxidants that have a direct effect on the endothelium, the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. Think of your endothelium like the Teflon coating on a pan. When it's smooth and healthy, blood flows freely. When it's damaged by high blood sugar, smoking, or aging, it becomes sticky, inflamed, and narrow, and that's when circulation to sensitive tissues like the penis or clitoris starts to suffer. Multiple clinical studies, including those published in International Journal of Impotence Research and Clinical Nutrition, have shown that pomegranate juice improves endothelial function, lowers oxidative stress, and even boosts nitric oxide activity. Nitric oxide is the molecule your body uses to tell blood vessels to relax and open, and that's the very same pathway that medications like Viagra work on. So when you sip pomegranate juice or eat the seeds, you're giving your body raw material to do what it was designed to do naturally. But here's the exciting part. Your body produces most of its nitric oxide and does its deepest vascular repair at night during REM sleep. That's why eating pomegranate in the evening, about an hour or two before bed, can have a more pronounced effect. You're timing the delivery of antioxidants and nitrates right when your blood vessels are primed for recovery. Now, I can almost hear you thinking, but won't eating fruit at night spike my blood sugar? Great question. For most healthy adults, a small serving of pomegranate, about half a cup of arils, or 4-6 ounces of pure juice will not significantly disrupt blood sugar, especially if you pair it with a little protein or healthy fat, like a handful of nuts. And the polyphenols actually improve insulin sensitivity over time, which means better glucose control in the long run. For men, this can translate to stronger morning erections, improved stamina, and even better sperm quality over months. For women, pomegranate's antioxidants have been shown in Menopause Journal to reduce vaginal dryness and support healthy collagen in the pelvic tissues. So this is not just about erectile function, it's about whole pelvis vitality. Here's a practical tip. Buy whole pomegranates. When they're in season, de-seed them over the weekend and keep the arils in a glass container in the fridge. This makes it easy to grab a serving at night without the mess. If you use juice, look for 100% pure pomegranate juice without added sugar, and treat it like a functional tonic, not a soda. Imagine this as a nightly ritual. Dim the lights, pour yourself a small glass of deep red pomegranate juice, sip it slowly, and tell yourself, I'm nourishing my blood vessels tonight. It sounds simple, but over time, this consistency helps your body rebuild from the inside out. If this resonates, subscribe for more of these science-backed natural approaches, because we need more conversations like this, without the medical jargon and without the shame. Now that you know the power of pomegranate, let's talk about the second fruit, one that surprises many of my patients, watermelon. Yes, the summertime classic you might think of as just sugar and water is actually one of the most fascinating functional foods for sexual health. Watermelon is naturally rich in an amino acid called L-citrulline. Your body converts L-citrulline into L-arginine, which is the direct precursor to nitric oxide, the same molecule we just talked about that relaxes your blood vessels and allows for healthy erections. In fact, a landmark study published in Urology found that men with mild erectile dysfunction who took L-citrulline supplements experienced significant improvement in erection hardness and frequency. But here's the beauty of getting it from watermelon. You're not just getting one amino acid. You're also getting hydration, electrolytes, and phytonutrients like lycopene, which support vascular and prostate health. Think of watermelon and pomegranate as a duo. Pomegranate is the antioxidant shield, protecting your blood vessels from damage, while watermelon is the fuel, supplying the raw material to actually open those vessels. Together, they support the entire nitric oxide cycle. And when you eat them at night, you're taking advantage of the body's natural repair shift where hormones like growth hormone and testosterone rise and blood flow to the pelvic organs increases. Some people worry about eating watermelon at night, thinking it will make them wake up to pee more often. This can be true if you eat a very large portion, but a moderate serving, about 1-2 cups, usually hydrates you gently without overwhelming your bladder. In fact, for women with mild constipation or pelvic floor tension, a small serving at night can actually help keep stools softer and reduce straining, which protects the pelvic organs in the long run. And here's where timing becomes powerful. You can combine these two fruits into a simple evening ritual. Try a small bowl of diced watermelon with a handful of pomegranate seeds sprinkled on top. The flavor combination is refreshing and the science behind it is profound. You're literally priming your circulation for the nighttime repair process. For men, this means supporting stronger nighttime erections, which are not just a sign of sexual readiness, but a marker of vascular health. For women, this combination means nourishing the vaginal and bladder tissues, which rely on microcirculation to stay plump and elastic. I often tell my patients erections and lubrication are like the check engine lights of your cardiovascular system. When they start to fade, it's your body whispering, "Please take care of my blood vessels." Watermelon and pomegranate are like gentle mechanics, helping tune things up before bigger problems develop. If you're someone who likes to experiment, try this combination consistently for 3-4 weeks and pay attention to changes, not just in intimacy, but in your energy, sleep quality, and mood. And if you do notice a difference, share it in the comments because your story could encourage someone else to make a simple, healthy change that transforms their confidence. Let's take a moment to talk about something that many men notice, but few actually discuss: nighttime erections, or what's often called morning wood. These spontaneous erections aren't just a quirky part of being male, they're actually a powerful indicator of vascular and nerve health. On average, a healthy man will have 3 to 5 erections during a single night's sleep, each lasting 20 to 30 minutes. These are not triggered by sexual dreams, but by cycles of REM sleep. During REM, your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and repair system, takes over, relaxing blood vessels and allowing blood to fill the spongy tissue of the penis. In a way, these nightly erections act like physical therapy. They oxygenate the erectile tissue, keep it flexible, and maintain its ability to respond when you actually want to be intimate. When those nighttime erections start to weaken, become less frequent, or disappear altogether, it can be an early red flag, sometimes years before a man is diagnosed with high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease. The American Urological Association even notes that erectile dysfunction can be one of the first visible signs of cardiovascular disease. That's why paying attention to this signal is so important. Now, here's the connection to what we've been talking about. Eating foods that boost nitric oxide production, like pomegranate and watermelon, can directly improve the quality of these nocturnal erections because they enhance blood flow right when your body is naturally primed for it during sleep. You're not forcing anything, you're simply supporting the biology that's already supposed to be happening. Women often ask me, do we have a version of this? And the answer is yes. During REM sleep, women also experience increased blood flow to the clitoris and vaginal tissues, a natural process that keeps those tissues lubricated and healthy. When estrogen levels drop during perimenopause or menopause, this process can slow down, making vaginal dryness worse. This is another reason why nutrition and circulation support are so crucial for both men and women. If you've noticed changes in your nighttime erections, maybe they're softer or less frequent, don't panic. This is common and it's your body's way of asking for a little more attention. Here's a simple self-check you can try for 1 week. Notice how often you wake with an erection or feel one during the night. If they're consistently absent, consider that valuable information to bring to your doctor. It could be an opportunity to check blood pressure, blood sugar, and hormone levels early, before bigger problems arise. And if this resonates with you, drop a comment. You're not alone. Every time someone shares their story, it helps break the stigma around sexual health and encourages others to get the care they deserve. This is something I hear often in clinic. I thought dryness was just part of getting older and I just had to live with it. If that's how you felt, let me reassure you, vaginal dryness, burning, or pain during sex is extremely common after 40, but it is not something you have to simply accept. The vaginal and bladder tissues are highly sensitive to both estrogen levels and blood flow. Estrogen keeps these tissues plump, elastic, and well lubricated by increasing blood supply and maintaining healthy collagen. As estrogen declines during perimenopause and menopause, the blood vessels become less responsive and the tissue can thin, a condition called genitourinary syndrome of menopause (GSM). This can lead to dryness, irritation, frequent UTIs, and even small tears during intimacy. This is where circulation-supportive foods like pomegranate and watermelon play a unique role. Their polyphenols and amino acids help keep the endothelium, that inner lining of blood vessels, healthy and responsive. When blood flow to the pelvis improves, it can enhance natural lubrication, support the urethra, reducing urgency and leakage, and even nourish the pelvic floor muscles. Think of your pelvic floor like a hammock that holds up your bladder, uterus, and rectum. When blood flow is poor or tissues are undernourished, that hammock loses tone, just like any other muscle. But when you improve circulation, you deliver oxygen and nutrients that keep those muscles stronger and more responsive. Studies from menopause and climacteric journals have shown that antioxidant-rich diets are linked with improved vaginal health and better sexual satisfaction scores in midlife women. Here's a practical way to put this into action. Combine your evening fruit ritual with 2 minutes of deep diaphragmatic breathing or gentle Kegel exercises. As you inhale deeply, the diaphragm moves down, creating a natural massage for the pelvic floor. Pair that with a short squeeze and release cycle of the pelvic muscles, and you're actively pulling more blood into that region right when your body is absorbing those nitric oxide boosting compounds from the fruit. Women often tell me they feel embarrassed to talk about dryness or bladder leaks, as if it means they've failed somehow. But you deserve to know that this is simply a normal part of hormonal transition, and there are steps you can take, from nutrition to pelvic floor therapy to vaginal estrogen if appropriate, that can completely change your quality of life. So as you start this nightly habit, think of it not just as a way to support your partner or intimacy, but as an investment in your own comfort, confidence, and bladder health. Small changes like this can ripple out into better sleep, less anxiety, and more freedom to enjoy intimacy without fear or pain. Now that you know the science behind pomegranate and watermelon, let's make sure you're not accidentally canceling out their benefits. Because here's the truth, even the most powerful foods can't fully work if the rest of your lifestyle is pulling in the opposite direction. One of the biggest saboteurs I see is late night alcohol. A glass of wine might make you feel relaxed in the moment, but alcohol actually disrupts REM sleep, which is the very stage where nighttime erections and pelvic blood flow happen. It also dehydrates your body, making the blood a little thicker and the vessels a little less responsive. If you enjoy alcohol, try having it earlier in the evening, at least 3 hours before bed, and hydrate with water afterward so you're not undoing the good work of those fruits. Another major factor is sleep hygiene. Your body's nitric oxide production and testosterone release follow a circadian rhythm. If you're scrolling on your phone until midnight under bright blue light, your brain delays melatonin production, which delays REM sleep and shortens its duration. Simple fixes can help dim the lights an hour before bed, use warm colored bulbs or night mode on screens, and keep your bedroom cool and dark. These small shifts improve sleep quality and maximize the impact of the nutrients you just ate. Stress is another hidden saboteur. Chronic stress keeps cortisol levels high, which can blunt testosterone production and constrict blood vessels. Here's a powerful but simple amplifier. Practice 2 minutes of slow breathing right after your evening snack. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 1, exhale for a count of 6. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, which helps blood vessels relax and primes your body for repair. And don't forget movement during the day. Your pelvic circulation depends on regular muscle contractions. If you sit most of the day, blood flow slows, and it becomes harder to get a strong erection or feel arousal later. Just a 10-minute brisk walk after dinner can make a big difference in how your body uses the nutrients from your nighttime fruit ritual. Now let's put it all together into a simple, repeatable plan you can start tonight. After dinner, take a short walk or do gentle stretches to get circulation moving. About 60-90 minutes before bed, enjoy your bowl of watermelon with pomegranate seeds or a small glass of pure pomegranate juice. Pair with a handful of nuts if you want to stabilize blood sugar. 5 minutes after eating, practice deep breathing or gentle pelvic floor activation to pull blood into the pelvis. As bedtime approaches, dim the lights, shut down screens, and keep the room cool. Aim for 7-8 hours of sleep to allow for full REM cycles. When you do these consistently, you're stacking small habits that amplify one another. Over time, you'll not only notice changes in intimacy, but also in energy, mood, and even blood pressure. Remember, this isn't about a quick fix. It's about creating the conditions where your body can heal and thrive naturally. So let's step back and connect the dots. Tonight you learned that sexual health, whether it's erections, lubrication, or desire, isn't just about hormones or age. It's about the entire system working together: your blood vessels, your nervous system, your sleep cycles, and yes, your nutrition. We started by busting the myth that magnesium supplements alone are the answer. Magnesium is important, but it works best in the context of a nourished, balanced body. Then we discovered the 2 fruits that do more than any single pill: pomegranate, with its polyphenols that protect your blood vessels, and watermelon, with its L-citrulline that fuels nitric oxide production. Together, they work like a team, repairing and opening up the very pathways that deliver healthy circulation to your pelvis. We also talked about why nighttime erections matter. They're not just random events, they're your body's built-in vascular checkup. When they're present and strong, it's a sign your cardiovascular system is working well. When they start to fade, that's an early signal worth paying attention to, not a reason for shame, but a reason for curiosity and action. And importantly, we made space for women in this conversation. Circulation doesn't just matter for erections, it matters for vaginal moisture, bladder health, and pelvic floor tone. Supporting blood flow and nourishing those tissues can make intimacy more comfortable and prevent leaks, irritation, and pain, so you can feel confident and at ease in your own body. Finally, we layered in the lifestyle pieces: sleep hygiene, stress management, and evening rituals, because what you do with your environment is just as important as what you put on your plate. Here's the most powerful part. This plan is simple, affordable, and doable starting tonight. You don't need to wait for lab results, prescriptions, or a new supplement shipment. You just need to try one small change tonight. Make yourself a bowl of watermelon and pomegranate. Sit down, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that you're investing in your vitality. Your body isn't broken. It just needs the right conditions to function the way it was designed to. And the beauty of this approach is that it's not just about sexual health. It's about heart health, brain health, and aging well. When you nourish your blood vessels, you're nourishing your entire future. If this resonated with you, like this video and subscribe so you never miss these judgment-free conversations about sexual and pelvic health. And if you've tried this ritual or noticed changes in your nighttime erections, dryness, or bladder comfort, share your experience in the comments. You may inspire someone else to take their first step toward healing. Stay curious, Stay informed and know that your body is worthy of care. You deserve truth, not shame, and I'm here to give you both.